Hey everybody, I am back, starting the brand new podcast. It is for my FocusFit Wellness business that I am doing now under the Dolce Diet system. As you can see here, proudly wearing my Dolce Diet shirt here today. And this is the episode number one, kind of the introductory episode. And what I'm going to talk about here today is why I got started in the health, fitness, and nutrition business as a Dolce Diet certified coach. And we'll kind of go back to a little bit, kind of in the beginning, back in school. Back in high school, I was an athlete my whole life growing up, and always in very good shape. I worked out, played sports all year round, and so I never really had to worry about it so much. I didn't know anything really about dieting back then. This was back in the late 80s, early 90s. And most of what I knew was just kind of bro science type stuff. Get your proteins, make sure you have enough energy, drink a lot of sugary stuff as we did back then. So, and it really is just eating a lot of food, make sure we had a lot of food in our body to do all the different workouts and things we did for football, wrestling, basketball, whatever sports. And graduated from school, went into college for a year, and really in college, I started really, really bad eating habits, just eating whatever I wanted, because I could. I didn't have my parents telling me not to eat certain things. So I was eating Pop-Tarts and cereal all day long, pizza all the time for dinner and lunch, and really developed some really, really bad habits in college. And after college, I just spent the 1 year. And after that, I just started in the workforce, and once again, didn't know much about diet, didn't know much about what it took to maintain a good, healthy lifestyle, and so just kind of going off of the little bit that I knew, if and really, which really meant nothing at that time. I didn't really know anything, so I was just eating to eat and never thinking about what it did to my body, any long-term effects. And as most early 20-year-olds never think about the future. And so obviously developing more bad habits. And as I start developing these bad habits more and more, you get later into your 20s, um, stop working out, get really out of shape, and you're in the workforce. And at that time I had a son, and just uh, my health and my overall, you know, what we call wellness today didn't really exist so much. Definitely not in the mainstream aspect as it does now. A lot of people talking about it, a lot of really, really good, some not so good, but also some really good people out there really trying to help other people, kind of like what I'm doing now in the health and wellness and fitness world. And back then, it wasn't a part of my life. It wasn't in my thought process. I didn't think about my actual health, not just fitness wise, but just my internal health, how my body was functioning. I never thought about that. Once you hit 30, for most individuals, your metabolism starts slowing down. Really, really bad eating habits, really, really bad workout habits. I would work out sometimes here and there, and I would kind of hit these, as most people do, ups and downs, these ebb and flows of being in good and decent shape, and eating, or at least thinking that I'm eating really well, and then kind of falling off. And quite honestly, since I'm telling you all about my journey here, I had went to my doctor at the time, and I had asked to get a prescription for, I think it was phentermine, which is just a really, really bad drug, but it suppresses your appetite. And I had done really well with it as far as weight loss goes, if I'm being really honest. But it was terrible for your heart. It was giving a lot of people a lot of long-term health problems. And so my doctor only did the one prescription for me, and I did really well then. And I was working out, and I was kind of paying attention to my eating habits, but I still didn't know what I was doing. And so once again, when the prescription ran out, and I had some lifestyle changes and things happened to me, once again get right back on the negative bad eating habits of just poor diet choices, fast food, processed foods, because it was quick and easy to pop in the microwave, or um, sometimes not even have to cook it, just pull it right out of the pantry or out of the fridge and eat it as is, and never thinking about what it was doing to me, long term. And I had gained quite a bit of weight, as a matter of fact. At my heaviest, I was probably pushing 225, 230 pounds, and I'm somebody who's 5'6". So obviously I'm not very tall. So that kind of weight on my body frame was not good at all. It was actually quite terrible. And in fact, as I'm telling some of the story here, I'm going to pull up a picture so I can share with everybody. But I'll keep talking here throughout this so I can keep sharing my story. And once again, I'm in my early 30s, very, very poor diet habits, going through a lot of personal stuff and relationships, things of that nature. I'm working, I got, kids, things like that. And it was just, it was all bad. And once again, I was right back to not thinking about my diet, not thinking about any long-term effects, not knowing what I'm really, truly doing to myself. And it was it was a real low point in my life because you know I there's a part of me that believes I really should have known better on some level, coming from someone who played sports their whole life and who um took a lot of pride in trying to be healthy at some points, and then other points in my life maybe not so much. And I it was there was a big part of me that knew I should be doing better and kind of knew at least how to get started. And that's one of the advantages that I have over some other people is um, I was fit before. I knew I had discipline. I was doing football practices 2 a days and pushing heavy weights and running sprints. And when I was wrestling, I was not eating certain foods and staying away from fatty foods. And so I had a history of being disciplined. I had a history of knowing what it takes to be in a healthy mindset, in a healthy place during certain aspects of my life. So because I knew that I had that background, I knew that I had it in me to do it again. So I started getting into my mid late 30s, and once again throughout I was kind of going up and down. I would lose some weight here a little bit and then gain it right back, and then I would go a couple years with no change and then try to get back on the horse and eat right, and then something would happen in my life, like as many of us it happens to, and you start kind of giving yourself excuses and reasons why. Well, I'm dealing with this. It's a lot of stress, so it's okay for me to eat bad. It's okay that I don't have the time or the energy to focus on my nutrition. And once I started getting into my late 30s, I had decided that I really needed to start making a change. And I knew it wasn't going to be quick. I knew that this was going to be a long-term proposition. And even back then, kind of in my mid 30s time frame, I started listening to Mike Dolce. I'd seen him on The Ultimate Fighter. I knew that he had started working with other fighters on making weight. He had a great track record, and he had just kind of started coming out, being really, really popular in the MMA and fitness world. And so I kind of, I bought one of the books that had a lot of recipes. I think it was his first recipe book that he had. And there were some great recipes in there. But once again, I think, I didn't have the full on mindset of what this is going to take to really turn my life around. Started getting into my late 30s, and I knew there was a place I could go, through the Dolce diet system that was worked, that was tried and true, and had extreme success rates, 100% success rates in helping athletes make weight for a high level performance in the UFC and other mainstream MMA organizations. And so I knew it worked for me in the past. I just knew that I had to be more consistent. And so I got started and really started working out more often, started to focus more on the nutrition aspect of things, because I had learned that no matter how much you work out, no matter how much cardio you do, you can't outwork a poor diet. So I was really trying to focus a lot of my time and energy on learning more about the diet aspect. But once again, I'm living a life. I have a family and we have things going on, and you kind of fall into the everyday norms of just, oh, we'll pick something up here at the fast food place, or we'll just make something real quick, and not thinking about what it's really made out of. And even though we thought it was a healthy kind of meal, we weren't really sure and how healthy it really was. And I didn't know about, how much proteins I should be taking and any kind of nutrient dense type foods, and what those nutrients were supposed to do for me. I didn't know all that yet. And when I was 39, I started to train in jujitsu. And through that, it really helped propel me to a whole nother level of being in shape, quite honestly. My cardio had to get better. If I was going to be any good, if I was going to be, I knew I enjoyed doing it as a hobby, but I really wanted to do a little bit more. I wanted to compete, and I wanted to be good. Everything I've ever done, I want to be extremely good at. I'm very competitive. So I knew it was going to take a different level of um, being in shape, a different level of cardio, and a different level of understanding how well my body can perform and function at a high level. So as I'm going through my jujitsu journey, I'm starting to lose weight, because obviously it's a lot of cardio. And as I'm losing weight, and as I know I need the energy to be able to train, I start kind of turning away foods that I was eating before: fatty foods and fast foods, greasy foods. Um, I had stopped drinking sodas quite a bit ago, probably in my mid 30s. And then I can't remember the last time I had a whole soda myself. I really lost the taste for it, drinking water all the time. I'm not a person who needs to have some kind of carbonation in my drinks. I know a lot of people really enjoy that. So that's kind of there are some drinks out there that aren't terrible. You got to watch out for some hidden ingredients in those things. But, maybe doing like a Perrier water with some lime juice, lemon lime juice, or fresh orange, maybe squeeze in there, or infused, something like that, just to kind of get the bubbles in your throat. I know a lot of people like that. But back to my story is, I started to lose weight, and I started to pay a lot more attention to my nutrition aspect. Once again, I didn't have any real details and um, medical type information of what was really going on with my body. I just knew to stay away from certain foods and to take on other foods that were a lot better for me. And I would feel the difference. A lot of my experience is anecdotal. I see that I perform better with these foods in my system, maybe more than other foods. Maybe the other foods just don't agree with me as much, for whatever the reasons. And we all have those, differences within our bodies versus somebody else. Someone else may say, "Well, I eat this," and you say, "Well, it doesn't agree with me." So that's kind of what I was doing, was trial and error type stuff, but trying to get vegetables in my system, good healthy lean meats in my system. Once again, cutting out fatty foods, cutting out sugars, especially the kind of the hidden ones that pop up in different kinds of drinks, even juices for that matter. Going to get a big carton of orange juice at the grocery store, it's just all sugar, and you have no fiber. You're not taking in any of the other nutrients that come directly from an orange. And so it's just a big serving of sugar that your body is being overloaded with. So I was making those kind of adjustments, and still kind of going up and down. I was going down steadily, but more of this kind of motion where you start going down, go up a little bit, level off, and then go down a little bit, and then level off, maybe up a little bit, back down. And we all kind of go through this path. And somewhere along that trajectory, I think we all kind of start feeling like, what's the point? I'm not going down, rapidly. I'm not losing all the weight that I want to lose. I'm not looking the way I want to look. And so we kind of give up at some point. And luckily for me, I never gave up. I would hit plateaus, but then I knew I had to reevaluate things. And when I was really honest with myself about my diet and what I was taking in, and even with my workouts sometimes, I I knew that I wasn't giving my all. And um, you know, when I first started training jujitsu, I wasn't at my absolute heaviest, but I was pretty heavy. I was still about 220 pounds. And every year I would drop down some weight, drop down a weight class when I would compete, and that kind of stuff felt good. I noticed my clothes were fitting better. I had more energy all the time, even just throughout the regular day, going to work and doing other things besides training. I just had more energy for the day. So I knew I was on the right path, but I knew I had to really, really take it to another level. And one of the big turnaround points for me as well in my career or in my current job, um, a big part of my job used to be a little bit still now, but a lot more in the past, is I would go out to people's homes and I would do in-home estimates. And as I would go out to these homes, a lot of people were telling me their stories, and they were moving from like a two-story home to a single-story home. And they were doing that strictly because they couldn't go up and down the stairs anymore. And a lot of times people would just share their information with me as we're walking through the house and making conversation. And they would tell me, yeah, I can't go up and down the stairs anymore. I have this going on with me. I have that going on with me. And it was almost never because they had a terrible car accident and they busted their leg or their hip so bad that they couldn't go up and down stairs. It was almost always self-inflicted, where maybe it was smoking related, maybe it's diet related. They got diabetes, they have some kind of heart disease. They're some kind of their bones are starting to get really brittle, and so they're having a hard time going up and down stairs. And I started hearing these stories, and it really started to scare me. And these are people, as it would come out, these are not, I would think that, they were in their 70s or maybe even their 80s. These were people in their late 40s and 50s or mid 50s. And I couldn't help but think, like, I know a lot of people in my life, in my own family, my group of friends, who are in their 50s and even early 60s. And one of my best friends who's in his mid 70s, and they're in phenomenal shape. I mean, they go swimming, they go bike riding, they go running. They're constantly active all the time, and they're playing golf and they're playing tennis and doing all these things. And I'm thinking, I don't want to end up like, someone who can't get around their own house, that they have to move from a house they've been in for 25, 30 years. They have to leave that home and go to a different home because it's one floor, or go into an apartment because it's a one floor and they don't have to go up and down stairs. I didn't want to end up like that. And it scared the crap out of me, quite honestly. And I kept saying to myself, I'm not going out like that. And look, and I understand some people are born with certain diseases. They're born with maybe some kind of autoimmune disease or a bone degenerative disease where it's kind of eating them from the inside, or they're born having some kind of heart-related issues, and or maybe with diabetes. I'm not talking about those people who already are starting off at a point where they have a big obstacle to overcome. And I'm going to get to those people here in a minute. But the people who give themselves these ailments and bring it upon themselves through just poor choices in life, diet choices and drinking, and taking in the wrong kinds of foods into our system, it really motivated me to make some big changes in my life. And so as this was going on, I'm still training. I'm still working out, at my home. I'm lucky enough that I was able to get some good workout equipment here at the house. And I can stay in shape that way when I'm not at the gym training, doing jujitsu. And so now I'm at this point where I'm really cooking. I'm down about 30, 35 pounds, and I'm consistently, then I would kind of plateau a little bit, but I'm feeling good. I feel like I'm looking good. I actually had to go buy some new clothes because my old clothes weren't fitting. They were just too big and baggy, and it didn't look good on me. And that was a great feeling. It was a phenomenal feeling to be able to do that. And so as I'm going through this in my early 40s, I'm hitting some really, really good levels. And then I just start really absorbing as much information as I can about nutrition, about health, about our overall, how our body's functioning, not just from the outside, how my movement is, whether I'm fast, I'm strong, or whatever. I'm focused on what's going on the inside. And then I really started to take on the responsibility of knowing exactly where I am. And what I mean by that is, I went to my doctor and I said, I need some blood work done. They said, no problem. What do you want? What do you want them to check? I said, I want to check everything, full blood panel, testosterone, everything. I want to know exactly where I'm at. And they said, okay. So, they write me the ticket up, or the sheet that has the list of everything they're going to check for, all my levels, potassium levels, iron levels, vitamin D, vitamin C, everything across the whole blood panel. And I go in on my first one, and I tell them I want to do this quarterly. Okay, so I want to do this 3 times a year, or I'm sorry, 4 times a year. And they said, no problem. Just come in for the appointment. We'll write you up the new one, and you can go get your blood work done. And make sure you fast, 12 hours before you go in, if you're going to go in the morning, and go get it done. So the first results came back, and I had some deficiencies here and there. I did have some high, not cholesterol, but my blood pressure was actually good, but my lipids were a little bit high. And so I had some things that I had to work on. My testosterone was low and things. So I had to really, now I had a blueprint, and I had a starting point. I could really focus on the things that I knew I was deficient in, and work to get those things to a sufficient or even an optimal level. They gave me some tips on when I went back to my doctor. Once I got my results, my doctor went over with me and said, hey, you should be taking some vitamin D for sure. You're deficient in vitamin D, which is a big topic right now. But take some vitamin D. You got to take some of these other supplements. And when I say supplements, I'm talking about vitamins to get your body to where they're at the levels that it needs to be. And so really making health my number one priority. Food, everything I drink, everything I intake, my fitness, my workout programs, and now with my internals, is seeing exactly how my body is functioning. I have a great blueprint. So once again, I go back into the 3 months later, and I get another blood work done. Levels are improving, but still some deficiencies here and there. And great, now I know what to work on even more. So go back in. Actually, I think it took me like 4 or 5 months the next time. Went back in, and still improving. So I was always making these improvements and getting to where I needed to be. And it was great because I knew what I needed to work on. It was very important that I had the information, I knew what I needed to do, and I could positively make a plan and affect those things specifically that I could work on. And once again, I'm engulfing myself in knowledge as much as I can, learning as much as I can. And so I'm talking over with my parents, and they were very surprised. I mean, first of all, they were happy for me that I was losing weight, and that I was making my health a priority. But they were surprised at how much I knew, and really how much I knew compared to everyday people. I mean, when you look at the amount of information that exists in the world of nutrition, health, fitness, and wellness, it's a whole nother, like, doctor degree. I mean, there's so much information out there for all you jujitsu people, or maybe another martial arts. But I'm kind of a second level, second belt up, maybe with a couple stripes. I'm a 2-stripe, maybe 3-stripe blue belt in the world of nutrition as I continue to gain my knowledge. But my parents said, hey, you should focus on this. You should go and get some kind of certification. And I said, funny you should bring that up, because Mike Dolce from The Dolce Diet has a certification system to become a certified coach under his program. And they said, well, if you would, we consider this education. And so if you would like to go and take this course, we're more than happy to pay for it as if you were going to college. And I said, great. So with my parents' help and blessing, it was phenomenal. Went to the class and became a Dolce Diet certified nutrition coach. And I'm super excited about this journey. And just to kind of give you guys a point of view here, I'm going to pull up a picture that I'm going to share. And this is where I was. So here's where I was at my worst, probably some of my worst, right in here. And here I am after losing a bunch of weight and gaining some good, decent muscle here. And I was very, very proud. Yes, I was trying on shirts here at the store as I'm buying new clothes, which was a lot of fun for me. But that was That's about 45-pound difference from the old me to the new me. Overall in the course of about 4 to 5 years. And once again, as I'm going up and down, hitting plateaus, getting off track and making poor choices and then getting back on track. It is a constant, they say journey. And I think sometimes the word gets kind of a little bit woo woo or hijacked. Sometimes it can even turn people off. I get it. But it really is a journey or a path, whatever you want to call it, because it's an ongoing thing. You can't focus on just the goal line being whether it's a weight that you want to accomplish, or maybe it's hey, I have a wedding coming up, a friend's wedding. I want to fit into this dress. I want to fit into this tux, whatever it is, and I want to be this size. Because what happens after that, your mindset changes and you go right back to some of those old habits. But I'm going to talk about that on a different podcast, and probably even next week. It's going to be all about mindset. But that's my story. And when I decided that I was going to become a certified coach, it's because I want to help people. There's a lot of misinformation. There's just a lot of overall information about health and fitness. And, I'm not somebody who is, I'm not somebody who gets a head start in the world of health and fitness, quite honestly. My genetics are as such. I have an endomorphic body type. And what that means is I naturally going to carry a lot more body fat, unusable body fat. My body's going to carry because of my body type. A lot of it's because of my genetics. I'm full blood Mexican. And because of that, these are not excuses, but however you want to look back and look at it, Mexicans are not very well known necessarily, I guess, for being super fit and super lean by any stretch of the imagination. Not that some are not, but we have some unique challenges because of our genetics and overall history. So the people that I'm really focused on, and I'll help anybody who wants help with any level of nutrition, any level of their health, any level of maybe they want to gain a little bit just more muscle, some strength. I'm always down to sit down and listen and talk with people and help anybody who wants to make a positive change in this area. But my main focus on people that I'm looking to reach out to and hopefully can see that, through me and my journey is people who are over 30. After 30, our metabolisms really start to slow down, especially if you're not staying active in some kind of workout program, whether it's bike riding, going for walks or jogs, or hitting the weight room and things like that. So people over 30 and people who naturally carry maybe a little bit more body fat than others, people who don't have this genetic gift of being naturally lean or naturally muscular. I brought up the fact that I'm an endomorphic body type, which is kind of more of like that pear-shaped type body type. The other two major ones you're looking at are the mesomorphic body types, where they kind of built naturally with a lot of muscle. They kind of look like they're built like action figures right out of the box, and they don't have to work out very hard, and they still look like that. It seems unfair, but hey, it is what it is. There's no reason to get upset. And then you have the ectomorphic, and they're more of the lean people, and they can still be unhealthy, but they look lean no matter what. And they're the people that you see like, oh, I have a friend, they eat whatever they want, they drink all the time, and they never work out, and they always look so good. Well, maybe that's the case. Maybe they're just naturally gifted genetically where they're gonna stay leaner and skinnier than most people, but it doesn't mean they're healthy. It doesn't mean their insides are not that their insides are functioning at a high level, that their organs are functioning properly, and that their body overall is doing well. It just means that they're lean or they're skinny. And I think as a culture, we've allowed that kind of to be the judge and the measurement of whether or not you're healthy or not. But it really isn't. There's so much more to that. And that's what I will be talking about on this podcast. That's what I will be helping people with when they come to me saying, Eric, I need some help. Can you help me? Yes, I can. And these are the areas that I'm going to help. And these are the people I really want to focus my time and energy on, because I'm not that person that you see on Instagram or on Facebook that's just jacked and ripped all the time. And they got this kind of perfect body. That's not me. I work really, really hard to have the physique that I do. And it's nothing special, but I'm I'm lean, I'm fit. I can perform at a high level when I get to the gym. My cardio is really good. So I have a lot of good things going for me, but I have to work at it. And that's the people that I want to really help affect the most, the people who do have to work at it. It's not easy for me, and I know it's not easy for most of you. And I'm hoping that you can look at my story and say, hey, that's kind of the path that I want to take, is the slow, steady, gradual, long-term lifestyle changes to being a healthy individual, to being the most healthy that you can be for who you are. It's not about looking a certain way or fitting in a certain way. It's about feeling great and being overall healthy so your body can do all the things that you want to do in life. And that is my goal. That is why I'm here. And that is what I will be doing. So with all that said, that is my story. Just so you all can hear from the very beginning of where I started, where I've been through, what I've been through, and where I've been, and how I got to where I am now, and kind of my goals for the future as well. I'm training pretty consistently at my jiu-jitsu gym. Obviously, now as the competitions start ramping up again, hopefully next year, there'll be a lot more competitions and I will be entering them. I want to perform at a high level. I want to win. I want to do great. I want to be an inspiration in my gym and through other gyms and other people. I want to show you that, and I just turned 44 this year, just last month, just over a month ago. And at 44, I feel like I'm just getting started in life. I have a lot of great things going for me with my family, my job, starting as my new second career here. And I feel like I have a lot to offer people who are just kind of getting started and don't know where to turn. So if you don't know where to turn, if you know somebody who does not know where to turn and they need a good push, they need the right person to help them get along through this critical, tough time of just making the decision first and saying, I need to make a change. I don't know where to start. I don't even know who to turn to. If you come across my page or you know somebody, send them my way. I'm going to take good care of them. I'm going to make sure that they don't get bad information, and I'm going to share everything that I know and use all the resources that I have to make sure they get on the right path, the right journey for themselves and get healthy, because that's what this is about. It's about being healthy overall as an individual, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything across the board. So thank you for listening. I will be back next week. Once again, like I said, I probably will be talking about mindset, how to get started when you have to make the change and say, I'm going to do whatever it takes, and how to look at food differently, not just as, oh, this tastes good, or, oh, this is easy, or, oh, this is what I want to eat. This is what I'm craving, to this is what my body needs. These are the nutrients that I need to function at a high level to make sure I can do all the things that I want to do. So next week, that's what we're talking about: mindset, focusing on food, and focusing on how to look at food differently and make sure you're getting what you need. So this is Eric. Thank you for listening. I'll see you guys next week. And I'll be posting some pictures throughout the week for all the different training recipes, all the things that I'm doing, meal prepping as I do, just to help motivate and get some information out to you guys. And it's going to be fun. I'm really excited. And I appreciate everybody who supports me in whatever capacity that is, even if it's just listening and paying attention, giving me thumbs up, that kind of thing. I appreciate all of you. So once again, thanks again. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. FocusFit Wellness, baby. Here we are. Boom.